Dub Nation, it's Draymond Green. My head coach Steve Kerr joins Willard and Dibs today, right here on 95.7 The Game.
Day-Day! Yeah, he does, Day-Day.
Let's go. Day-Day back in the starting lineup where he belongs. Let's get ready.
Hi, this is Draymond Green, and when I don't play, they don't win. I'll see you on Friday if my ankle feels better.
All right. Draymond Green not going to let them light the beam, is he?
Oh, the beam.
The beam.
The beam is back. The beam. Beamers play tonight, I think.
They do. They're in Utah.
Okay.
I actually made them a part of my little parlay.
My parlay last night died.
I just went through.
I laid the 2.5.
It was like there's so much NBA tonight. I'm like, I haven't seen any of these teams, but I'm just going to go through them and be like, I like you. Give me a little bit of you over here. Beep. Send.
Okay.
I have no clue,
fun.
right? Well, I mean, we haven't seen anybody play yet.
I started a 3-team open-ender last night, and we were at the team store.
Obviously.
At Chase Center, and I was in my feelings, and I took the Warriors, and I laid the 2.5, and I felt good about it.
You did.
And then I got to the fourth quarter, and I'm not coming down Kuminga's road, but it's not called an expensive throw. It's called a free throw. And I'm standing next to the Grandy man, and we were at the other end of the floor up in the concourse, and he missed the first, and then he missed the second. And I don't want to say what I said, but it wasn't very nice, as I recall.
Well, that's understandable.
Randy right now is racking his brain. I said some wild things. I had some wild takes up in the concourse.
Well, apparently Christy was the only one who heard him.
Well, that was earlier. And yes.
By the way, that whole thing.
Christy heard the quarter one takes. There were 3 other quarters of takes. That was only from me.
My bad, Grandy.
Hang on.
Off the record.
That all got misconstrued. I didn't say you didn't say it. I said I didn't hear it. It was loud in there. Okay. There's a lot going on. I got you a beer.
You did. Have a beer. That was nice of you.
Don't come down my road. I got you a beer.
Half off. Shout out Chase.
Go Rangers.
Chase cards. Chase card holder.
Yeah, that ended up blowing up in my face. Christy's like, come on, I'll buy you guys a beer. And then I get over there and she's like, hey, did you hear about this Chase discount? She's like, I don't have a Chase card. Do you? I'm like, I do. Great. All right, you're buying. All right, I'm going to get a beer. So, anyway, that's the way that went.
Got him.
Jordan Poole is playing basketball right now. Ladies and gentlemen.
Jordan Poole?
6 points on 3 for 5 shooting, 0 for 2 from deep. And if you really want to have a good time, 3 assists already from Jordan Poole, Washington Wizard. 1 turnover, 1 foul. He is +7, while his Wizards are down by 4 at Indiana.
3 assists is more than Curry, Wiggins, and Looney combined.
Is that accurate? Is that a real stat?
They had 1, 0, and 1. Andrew Wiggins, 4 of 12, 1 rebound, no assists. And I get why Steiny was coming down his road. You mentioned this going to break, and I know we have a lot of Warrior calls to get to, and I want to hear from everybody. But in terms of things that, and again, one game, I'm not that bothered. They're 0-1. I thought that Klay Thompson as a shot hunter was a bigger problem than Andrew Wiggins' non-existent floor game.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that the Klay stuff stood out a lot more. I think it's also a lot easier to see when we're watching a basketball game. We're not locked in usually on one defender and exactly what's going on there. Steve Kerr, we'll ask him about it shortly because he didn't put Andrew into the finishing lineup and stated after the game that it's because he wanted to go with the guys who were playing the best defense. So he went with Jonathan Kuminga. Then Kuminga had some trouble out there on both sides of the ball, quite frankly. He gets lured into fouls a little bit.
Yeah.
And he missed 2 huge free throws.
Yeah.
Huge free throws. And he clanked the front of the rim on both of them. And so it was not the opener that he wanted either. But yes, in the first half, what stood out as far as what wasn't going well? Yeah, Klay Thompson's shot. Look, Klay Thompson's Klay Thompson. So I think under normal circumstances, you go, look, shoot or shoot. And Klay didn't have it going in the first half, so what? The problem is it gave us all kinds of Laker playoff series vibes.
Kinda.
And so when that's the last thing we saw, and then he comes out and goes, dude, I was a shot fighter in that Lakers series, and I got to learn from that. I don't want to do that this year. This is going to be the best season of my career. And then that's your first look. I get it. Again, do we overreact? Maybe not. But
yeah, we do.
That did not feel the way I know people wanted it to feel.
Yeah, and just the sense of him hunting his shot. And I know that's the nature of Klay, and that's kind of what you get with Klay Thompson. Steph Curry in the foul trouble was a little bit of a, I don't know, it's not an issue. It's one game, but I thought, and Grandy and I had a big debate about the one that was the block charge, and they called a block on him. We'll get Steve's thoughts on that. And Steve Kerr also with a late challenge of a call that went against him with about 4.5 minutes to go.
Yep.
An unsuccessful challenge. All around, not a great night. But if you look at just the shooting, 36 of 101. They only made 36 baskets in 48 minutes.
They shot 35%.
They were awful.
It's brutal.
So in a make or miss league, if you miss 65 shots and you only make 36 shots, you're probably going to lose 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, Suns shot 44%.
Not great either.
Not great, but enough to beat the Warriors on a night where their shots weren't just falling. And so I'm going to look at it through one night, and it's the first night, and go, look, their shots weren't falling. And so I still expect some nice things from the Warriors this year. I'm not going to take last night and make any sweeping statements, but on a person-by-person basis, there were some concerning things from individual players, no doubt. All right, Tom in Sonoma here with Willard and Dibs. Hey, Tom, what are you doing?
Hey, Willard. Hey, Dibs. I agree with your last statement right there. I made some observations last night. I want to give Mooney the best player. I thought he played defense, offense. They didn't play him enough. But Wiggs, man, he looks like the Timberwolf Wiggs. You know what I mean? Kuminga's trying too hard. CP3, he can't be with the first unit, man. He's walking that dribble down. I see these guys standing around and not moving. That's not our offense. I think Chris Paul would be better with the second unit. I know this is a lot for the first game, and the other problem that scares the hell out of me, man, is the fourth quarter not scoring. That's what I got to say, man. I'd like to hear your response.
Yeah, Tom, thanks so much.
Tom.
Listen,
that guy.
I think the whole, I'd rather see Chris Paul with the second unit take is fair if you thought it before the game, not just after. Again, I don't want to overrate 5 minutes of basketball, but I felt that way before the game.
You verbalized it in real time.
And I did not see anything last night that knocked me off of my opinion. My opinion was that age and defense will show, in my opinion, if you sub out one of your bigs for Chris Paul as the starter. Now, maybe they're only doing that for a few games here and there until Draymond gets back. But last night, what we saw in that starting unit was exactly what I feared we would see. And they do not look quick and large enough to defend another NBA team that has good offensive players. So, maybe this is just Draymond's out and it's no big deal. But yes, I would be more in favor of Chris Paul coming in 5 minutes into the game on the second unit.
I have faith in Steve Kerr, as I know that you do,
Absolutely.
in terms of seeing it and being able to figure out what fits best for the team, and also being able to communicate to whichever one of his 6 starters, quote unquote, is not going to be a starter on the regular. And it's something I said yesterday on the show. I might have said it to you after and you just tuned me out, but there are going to be plenty of games where Chris starts because Steph is out.
Oh, sure.
Or Clay is out, or Chris is out, and so he doesn't start. The starting lineup is going to be a rotation sensation.
Good for you.
In terms of available bodies. And not only, what fits the opponent, it's only the opening 5 minutes or so, so it's not that critical. I am more interested in his closing lineup, and I love what he did last night because Andrew Wiggins was not playing great. And, Kuminga, even though he was, and I don't want to disparage him by using the phrase out of control, because I liked him being a little bit out of control, but you saw the one play where he either traveled or he committed an offensive foul and he gets up and he was kind of laughing because he knew that he's just moving too fast. He's a young player and he's going to be a little bit out of control at times.
That's true. But the other side of this, and, he went 4 for 8 and he had 12 points and had 6 rebounds. It's not like the numbers were terrible. But with all of the offseason talk and the role that he clearly wants, last night was not a great night. GP2 played more minutes than Jonathan Kuminga did. So for me, the Jonathan question is a long one, if you will. There's a lot that needs to go in there if he's going to truly be the player this year that I think the Warriors need him to be. And it's chicken or the egg, you know? I mean, he needs to play his way into a role that, in my opinion, is more than 20 minutes. But I don't know if he necessarily did that last night.
And I think more than 20 minutes is, you're not looking for 30 minutes, I don't think. You're probably looking for 24, 25 minutes. So can he get to that spot? Will he play more? I think the answer is yes. He also had a little bit of foul trouble that might have limited how much time he was going to get. I am curious to ask the coach about Moses Moody because I thought that he was the first half MVP, Mark. The opening two quarters of the year, I mean, he had a block, he had a steal. I thought that he was terrific, and I was a little surprised he didn't get more run late.